Hello. Today we're going to be talking about noun clauses. The first thing to remember about noun clauses is in its name. A noun clause is a noun, and it serves as a noun in a sentence. So just like any other noun in a sentence can either be the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence, a noun clause is the same way. If we look at the first example here, she told me what I should say. The noun clause is underlined. Do you think that the noun clause is the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence? If you said it's the object, then you're correct. And we can tell this because the sentence already has a subject, she, and a verb, told, right? So because it already has the subject and the verb, then this must be the object, right? In the second example, what I heard on the news was unbelievable. Again, the noun clause is underlined here. Do you think it's the subject or the object of the sentence? If you said subject, then you're correct. And again, we know this because we already have a verb in the sentence, was, but we don't have any other subject. So this entire thing underlined here, what I heard on the news, is the subject. And then the verb describes that subject, right? It was unbelievable. The next thing to know about noun clauses is that there are three types. Noun clauses that begin with that, clauses that begin with a question word like what, when, which, who, etc., and clauses that begin with the words if or whether. Of these three, the most common is the noun clauses that begin with that, so we'll see that most often. Let's look at a couple of examples. Here we have a simple noun subject. Her speech was fascinating. Notice that in her speech, the subject, there's no verb. So this is not a noun clause, it's just a noun. But then compare it to this underlined subject. That she spoke without notes was amazing, right? So here we have a noun clause because it begins with that, right? Like in our first type. And then we have a subject and a verb, she spoke. Here's another example. Many believe the results. Here the results is the object. It is a noun, but it's not a noun clause. Do you know why? It's not a noun clause because there's a noun, but there's no verb, right? So remember that a clause has to have a subject and a verb. Here's a noun clause object. See if you can find in the underlined part that total immersion is the best way to learn a new language. Where's the subject and verb that make it a clause? Well, if you said total immersion is the subject and is the verb, then you're correct. Notice that this object noun clause begins with the word that. Okay, so let's look a little bit more closely at noun clauses that begin with that, our most common type of noun clause. I'm going to give you some sentences in just a moment, and I'd like you to finish the sentences with a noun clause. So they're going to begin with the word that, and then after that, you're going to have a subject and a verb that follow. Let's do one for free. I believe that. So I is the subject, believe is the verb. Here we're going to have a object noun clause that begins with the word that, and that is followed by a subject and a verb. I believe that, I believe that dogs are the best pets, right? I'm a big dog lover. So I could say, I believe that dogs are the best pets. Here, dogs are my subject of the noun clause, and are is the verb, right? I'd like you to pause the video and try to do the other sentences, finishing them in your own way. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples. Now, of course, your answers can be different from these, but these are just to give you an idea. For number 2, you could say, I doubt that. I could say, I doubt that I practiced enough for my guitar lesson later today. So I doubt means I don't think, right? I think probably not. And number 3, I could say that da-da-da-da is frightening. Notice that and the subject and verb are at the beginning, so that means that this is a subject noun clause. Whatever my subject is, I believe that is frightening. Okay, so what is frightening? Maybe I could say, that COVID-19 might come back is frightening, right? That is really frightening to me. And number 4, I had no idea that. Here we have an object noun clause. I had no idea that you spoke so many languages, right? Here we have an object noun clause, so it goes at the end of the sentence. So again, your answers could be very different. Just make sure that they begin with that and that they're followed by a subject and verb and that the whole sentence makes sense, and then you're good to go.